This is Apple's Magic Mouse, and it's probably one of their most controversial products. Some people hate it, some people love it, and I've been using this mouse for about 8 months, and today I'm going to be explaining some of the pros and cons I've found with this mouse, and if I think it's a mouse that you should look into. So let's get right into it. The first thing we're going to do is talk about some of the cons that I've found with this mouse. Now, the Magic Mouse, the main thing people say about it is its ergonomics is not the greatest, and I can agree with that. So you can see the Magic Mouse has a curved shape to it, but when you're holding it with your hand, you're almost doing a claw shape. So some people have found this really uncomfortable, especially if they have bigger hands. Now, I personally haven't had the biggest problem with the Magic Mouse. It kind of just sits okay for me because I have smaller hands, and I kind of just adopt this claw shape, which works pretty well, or you can move it back like this and it works pretty well. But still, it's definitely a concern, and I have found this to be not the most comfortable mouse compared to some gaming mice I've used, and some people are just going to flat out find this mouse not comfortable at all to use if they have larger hands. Now, another thing that a lot of people have talked about with the Magic Mouse is the bottom lightning port. Now, this overall is still not the greatest design for where a mouse would charge, and it just makes charging, if it runs out of battery, you will have to charge it. While it does charge pretty fast, it is still pretty inconvenient that the charging port is located on the bottom and it cannot be charged while it's being used very well. The next thing is something that I actually haven't heard a lot of reviewers talk about, but the sensor that ships with the Magic Mouse is not the greatest optical sensor. I've found that it works okay on my 60Hz MacBook screen, but if I use my MacBook in docked mode and I have it hooked up to a high refresh rate screen, I find that the mouse does not feel like it's moving at the high refresh rate that my screen is. And I just find it is not the smoothest mouse when you're moving it around, or if you are going to use it for light gaming, it just is not going to be a super smooth experience. And I would say the MacBook trackpad is actually a little bit more accurate than the Magic Mouse for pointer precision, but it still does work pretty well, and I think it still gives you that extra level of control and handling that you look for when using a wireless mouse over the built-in trackpad. The next thing we are going to be talking about is, since the Magic Mouse is basically just a single clicking device, as you can see right here, it has a single click when you click with it, and while it does have a right click feature in macOS, you can only right click or left click at once. You cannot click both, so if you were actually planning to do any type of applications like light gaming where you would need to click at both times with like a right and a left, that is not going to be possible. Now, I don't use any of the applications where you would have to hold both buttons at the same time, but it is something to keep in mind if you were planning to get this mouse. Now we're going to get into some of the pros that I've found when using this mouse. First, we're just going to say that the Magic Mouse is a very lightweight mouse that's easy to slip into a school bag or anywhere where you want just a little bit more precision with what you're doing, and it's just been really awesome to be able to bring to school and get a little bit more control over what I'm doing. If I was doing any design projects at school and stuff like that, it's been really useful just to be able to bring around just like that. Next, we're going to talk about the battery life. So while I did say earlier that it is pretty convenient having the lightning port on the bottom like this, the Magic Mouse redeems itself with its insane battery life. I bought this back in August and the mouse was at around 80%, and now sitting at around 23% around 8 months later, which is awesome. And I've just found this mouse to have awesome battery life. I've used it for many hours. I've accidentally left it powered on for multiple days and still came back to it working completely fine and losing no battery life whatsoever. So battery life is definitely great with this, and while the port is located on the bottom, 2 minutes of charging can give you around 3 hours of use, which is awesome, which kind of redeems itself with its bottom port placement. Next, we're going to talk about some of the gestures. Now, the Magic Mouse ships with some of the best gestures, and this is one of the benefits of buying something that is built into the macOS ecosystem. You can see that the Magic Mouse, the whole front is basically a massive touchpad that allows you to do many different types of gestures, swiping, double tapping to open certain things, and it just has many more gestures than you can get with any other mouse on the market that's built for macOS, and that's one of the benefits of buying a product like this that's built right into the Apple ecosystem. And the gestures, you really can't get any other mouse like it, and it's really nice for scrubbing through timelines and other things where it requires you to move around and swipe around like you would with a trackpad. Next, this is kind of a niche thing, but the mouse is ambidextrous. Now, most people use their computer mouse with their right hand. I know a lot of people use their right hand, but if you are a left hand user, you'll know that the Magic Mouse is going to work completely fine for you because it is symmetrical on all sides. It is ambidextrous, so if you use your left hand, you're going to have no trouble using the Magic Mouse. Lastly, we're going to talk about the build quality. Now, you know Apple and their insane build quality. The Magic Mouse is built out of solid aluminum, and it just has this composite material on the top for the touchpad, and it's honestly just great build quality. Squeezing this, it doesn't make any creaking sounds, and it's just a very overall quality made device. While it may not be shaped the greatest, it is very solidly built. And with that, the Magic Mouse also comes with these really nice sliding rails, which makes it able to easily slide across surfaces like desk pads and other surfaces, as these have very low friction on them, which is really nice. And yeah, guys, that is everything I have to say about the Magic Mouse. Other than some of the cons I've mentioned, I still really enjoy using this mouse, and it gives me a little bit more control over what I'm doing in some of the applications I use. Let me know if you guys think of this is a mouse that you use or are looking at getting. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like the video and subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next video.